Share them in just a little bit. We have a live audience, but for now, as you're getting logged on, as you're joining us, let us know where you're watching from. So your city, your state, your country. I know you're all from all over the world, so I want you to represent where you're from, and I would love to shout you out. We are a simulcast live streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I'm sure there's others. So, but again, thank you all for joining. And again, we had a little party here last night. We got cleaned up in time for this live stream. I'll share more about that later. And yeah, I'm just excited. So we have our live audience. Can we say hello to our live audience right now? There you guys go. Let's show them. Hello, everybody. Yes, I love this. It's just growing little by little. You know, when we started these live streams 2 years ago, it was just me and my girlfriend holding an iPhone, and it has definitely grown quite a bit. So let's do some shout outs. So as you're joining us again, let me know your city, state, or country so I can shout you out. We're in Sacramento. Real quick hello to Jenny Holtz from St. Louis. She put misery, like she actually wrote out St. Louis misery. It must be cold there and snowing. So I've had the pleasure to be in St. Louis, so I know a little bit. And then let me check in with our Instagram audience. Let me know where you're watching from. We've got Rye Vegas is painting live in Vegas in New Year's Eve, so that's an awesome gig for you, man. All right, sweet. So I do have 2 paintings for all of you today. We'll get to that in a little bit. And then also, this is our first of 2 live streams. So we've got this morning, afternoon one, and then we've got another one later at 7:30. So I'm excited about that. Let's go back to, let's see, Dudley Lowe, sending love, appreciate that. And then also, Jenny Holt said, yes, it's misery because of the snow. So, you know, we're in Sacramento, it's cold, but we definitely don't have the snow. So we have very, very dry streets right now. All right, I think I'm ready. Since we're doing 2 paintings today, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, the live stream has begun. Welcome everybody. Once again, I am David Garibaldi. We're at my studio, Warren Walls in Sacramento. I've got a couple paintings for you today that I'll be painting. I don't know if you saw the title, but it's just an afternoon painting. And also we have a live audience and some friends joining us right now. So say hello to them. Can you guys actually show them some love in the chat? Just say hey or, you know, hello. And if you ever want to join, there's a link in my bio and all my socials. I'm pretty sure they're all booked up for the rest of the year, but I did add 10 more spots for this morning and tonight. So we've started already. But if you want to join tonight at 7:30, there's a link in my bio to check that out. We're in Sacramento. Let's go to some more shout outs before we get into the first painting, just of your city, state, or country. I see some more coming in on Instagram. Instagram is going right now. So I see Chicago. I see Rhode Island, India, Nigeria. Let's see, California. Gabe in Elk Grove, welcome to you as well. I actually grew up in, most people don't know that I live in Sacramento, but I grew up in Elk Grove, which is just south of Sacramento. So shout out to the hometown. Love to the Bling Bodega. Thanks for the love as well. Bodims in Nigeria, sending love to you. We've got Mr. Move Around in Jersey, welcome. And then we've got, I don't know how to pronounce this, but you're from Australia on Instagram. So welcome to you as well. And then Ron is in Stockton, California. Shout out to you. Dudley Lowe in New York City. And let's do one more. Oh yeah, and also Jenny Holt is showing love to the live audience as well. So thank you for that. All right, so you know, we've got a couple paintings to do. We've got a live audience. Let's go ahead and let's paint. Let's go. right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to get into this first of two paintings. We're live streaming around the world on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. Wherever you are, use the chat down below. So we've got a live audience. They're going to be asking some questions. We'll have them on camera, but also I can answer your questions while I'm painting. So whether it's creative, whether it's just a random thought about, someone asked me last time, what's better, a hot dog or a sandwich? I shared my love and passion for sandwiches. So anything that you have in mind, ask away. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, let's paint. So first things first, when I start these portraits, I'm going to put on my undertone. So this tone could be one color, could be a mixture of different colors that I want to shine through no matter what I put on top of this. So when I do these performance portraits, I'm doing anything any other painter would do. I'm just speeding up the process. We're just doing it a little bit faster than normal. So I'm gonna start with this cool color, with this blue. I'm gonna try this new color scheme on this painting. I have done this portrait before, but not like this. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I have no guarantees what will happen, but that's always the fun of these is I kind of have an idea, and that's how I start most of the portraits. Even on stage, I know exactly what I'm going to do, what I want it to look like, but there's always this element of, let's see what happens. So, all right, so as you guys are joining us, watching online, feel free to use the chat to ask questions that you may have about this process, about maybe something I can help with in your own process. We did have an audience question earlier. I don't know if she's up for asking a question on the mic, but I would love to answer it. I just thought it was a great question. Or maybe, yes, do you want to use the microphone or do you want to ask from there? Okay, go ahead. All right.
Do you actually like turn it into a shape, or do you start out with like the body?
Ooh, that's a great question. So do I turn it into a shape or do I start out with the body? So what I'm creating, you can even see it now. I don't even know if you can tell what it is, but I start by creating shapes that I know combined will look like a figure or will look like a portrait. So it's sort of like I'm the one creating the puzzle and then your eyes are putting it all together. That's kind of how I view it. And then the fun part is the splatter, the splash. It just makes a bigger puzzle. So I love shapes, and that's all this is, just a lot of complicated shapes. But great question. What's your name? Aline? Ellie. Ellie. Thank you so much, Ellie. Appreciate it. Yes, L-E. Love it. Love it. All right, let's keep going. We'll keep building up this portrait. Again, I've done this one before, but not quite like this. I know sometimes it just feels like I'm just randomly throwing paint, but I think it's going to be something. I think it is. We'll find out very soon. All right, so it was Genova Bakery in Stockton, and they make the best. So you guys know about Genova Bakery? Okay, well, Genova Bakery in Stockton makes the best sandwiches. I guess I got to check this out because I do have a passion for the structure and texture and taste of sandwiches. We'll get into that more later. But, all right, let's keep this going. You guys couldn't see that. I just got paint on my mouth. That happens. It doesn't. Not the first time, for sure. It's an all too familiar taste. And then, I mean, I get paint in my eyes, you name it. I just try to play it off when I'm on stage. I can't hide it here. What's the best tasting flavor? Definitely bear paint is the best tasting flavor paint. I'm curious who's gonna guess who it is first. All right, those of you watching online, we're in the holiday season. We're about a week away from Christmas. What are your holiday plans? Are you staying home? Are you traveling? Are you just trying to stay away from people? Let me know in the chat. I know for me, I will be, let's see. Yeah, we'll go with this color. We'll definitely be doing a lot of family stuff with the kids. Oh, yes, yes.
Do you clean the brush or wipe out the paint that you just used?
Oh, so that's a great question. So do I clean out the brush or just keep using it? I just keep using the brushes. I probably should clean them, but you know, the cool thing about this paint is it's so thick that I can dip my brushes in there and it still won't mix as much with the other colors. But right now I'm using a lot of cool colors. So as I get into the warm colors, I definitely need to change these brushes or clean them somehow. But I have plenty down here to choose from. I love these questions. So great questions. She's asked, how did I figure out how to do the splatter painting? And well, I lost my job, so that helps. But no, I had just started painting live. So I was doing these smaller paintings in nightclubs and jazz clubs. And I was at a friend's house who actually I just saw last night. We've known each other for 20 years now. But he was helping me with my website. I went to his place to talk about it, and he had this huge painting on his wall. I walked up close to it. It was just splattered paint. And then when I stepped back, it was this amazing portrait of Jimi Hendrix. And I just saw that. I asked who did it. He said the artist's name was Denny Dent. And I looked him up, found out what he did, and I just thought it's everything I love: music, art, dance. And I just started in my garage, you know, starting to teach myself how to do this. And it took a while. You know, I was learning in front of people. I knew how to draw and paint, but not perform as much. So it was a lot of trial and error, and a lot of very forgiving audiences here in Sacramento. Thank you to the people who did not boo me when they probably should have. Yes, great question. So Deanna asked about the nonprofit that I run with my high school art teacher. So it's called Creator X, and our goal is to multiply creators through not only education but also inspiration as well. So we do a summer camp every summer. We took off the last couple years due to the world, but before that we had done a couple years where we do 3 days of think of like an arts, media, and entertainment tech conference for high school students. Our keynote speakers were from Disney, Pixar, major, marketing gurus, but they're all friends of ours that we've met in the industry, and we were those kids. So it's easy for them to say I want to support young kids that want to get into arts, media, and entertainment, which is pretty incredible. So yeah, creatorx.org is the website. Thanks for asking that. So I went to Sheldon High School in Elk Grove. This color. And Sean Sullivan, who was my art teacher, he was here last night at the party as well. And but Sean is an incredible teacher. He's really, truly revolutionized education. I just happened to get so lucky to have him as a teacher. And I like how this is coming out, by the way. But yeah, Sheldon High School in Elk Grove. Yes, yes. Go ahead. Oh, yes, we have another question. Yes.
I have a guess. Is it a dog?
Ooh, I like these guesses. So she guessed, is it a dog?
Yeah, because it looks like a dog, and it looks like that's a...
I mean, it could be. You never know. I mean, we're it's coming to life. It's a good guess. It's like clouds. It's like paint clouds. You look up, you don't really know what it is. You just make a guess. But it could be.
Do you have any tips for beginners on how to paint more loosely?
Ooh, yes. So a tip for beginners to paint more loosely. If you notice, I'm using, I sort of pull back on my brush, so I get more movement from my arm rather than holding it up close and just using my wrist. So when you hold up close on your instrument, whether it's a pencil or brush, you hold it close. This is your range of motion. Now that makes sense if it's a Post-it note, but if you're doing a painting or a larger drawing, just hold back on the brush and use the motion of your arm from your elbow. Here it's a much larger canvas, so I'm using the motion of my body to be more loose. And then it just takes time and trust with your paint over time, knowing how to use it, kind of when you're taking it a little too far, a little too loose, which I've been known to do from time to time.
Where did you get the confidence?
I think I'm still working on the confidence, but good to know you think I have it. I think the confidence just comes from doing this over and over again. I mean, think about I'm going on 20 years of doing this in March. Actually, I'm sorry, 19 years. And I do on average about 100 shows a year. So that's just the shows. Each show is anywhere from, say, 3 paintings on average, unless it's a halftime and it's 1. But, you know, doing like hundreds of paintings a year, you'll definitely get more confident. And I think the most important part is when you mess up, which happens often, when you mess up, you have to learn from that painting, from that image, and you have to carry it into the next. So when you do that, the confidence is not based on your skill set, it's based on the willingness to fail and the willingness to try it again. And I think that's more important than trying to be confident from perfection and chasing that.
Buy a lot of clothes?
Oh, do I buy a lot of clothes? Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, you don't want to see where we store all these clothes. There, it is a madhouse. So do we donate the clothes to charity? We have. And we've usually do it when we're auctioning off a painting at a charity event. And we got two bidders that are going back and forth. You know, say they're at like 18, 20,000. And I'm like, what's another 1,000 at that point? So we throw in, I start, you know, offering the jacket and the pants and the shoes. So I have done it in the past, more so in those situations, to bid up some paintings in auction. But we have used the clothes for more than just, you know, helping keep dry cleaners open across the country. Any guesses on what this is looking like? Yeah? Ooh. Oh my, possibly. I could probably, it probably looks like that. We're all like, I don't see it, but it probably does. You know what? Let's just go with that. Let's just go with that.
I see a lot of portraits of everything, but not a single animal.
Ooh.
Don't do animals. Try it.
You know what? No, that's a great question. So, animals are actually some of my favorite things to do. I just think about it like this. I put out into the world what I want to attract. So I want to perform portraits of popular icons or music icons. So we put it out. That's what's attracted. My passion projects, believe it or not, like I watched Bob Ross a lot growing up. I love doing this style in landscapes, believe it or not. So that's something I love to do, landscapes, animals. I just keep them to myself. Yeah. Okay, so Evan Struck, fellow speed painter, said sandwich making instructions. You know what? We might do that. We might just get rid of all this painting stuff and just dedicate this channel to sandwich making. So I can't wait to show you this one up close, because what I'm seeing here, I just see a bunch of these puzzle pieces we were talking about earlier, these shapes. And it's starting to drizzle, and it's hard to take it in when you see these paintings from far away or on a screen. Time to change brush, Allie, by the way. We got to get rid of that. And, but that's my favorite part, is transforming this now. We've got a base down. We're going to transform this into something, believe it or not. All right, let's keep going. All right, so how long does one of the paint cans last? Believe it or not, we actually get quite a bit of paintings out of these. So there's about 20 something gallons of paint that I'm surrounded by. I probably get, I don't know, Ray, what do you think? How many paintings do you think we get out of all of these? 50, yeah. It's definitely a good margin on the paint. I'll say that. Yes, I think I have a question from Ellie. Do you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You're invited back every time, by the way. I love this. Do I do what?
Like at my school, we usually wipe it really well so that we can see the water in our baking. Do you do that?
Yes, but I'm doing that on the carpet. So I use the carpet to, one, keep my traction up here as the paint drops, but also I'm rubbing the brushes on the carpet to clean them off. All right. Yeah, do. I did not give you permission to do that at home, just to be clear. I love that. All right, let's head over here to the white. We're gonna start adding some highlights now. So really, now I'm gonna take my time on this because I want to make sure that this doesn't mix in too much with the color that's already there. I also want to get some confident broad strokes going. So another thing too, someone asked earlier how I paint looser, and one of it is, yes, how you hold the brush, using more of the range of the motion of your arm, but also it's the rotation of the brush while I'm painting. So I'll start a motion and then I'm also rotating as I go. It's like creating a river. So if we're rotating one way, we're always going to counteract it the other. Somehow when it all adds up, it just kind of flows a little bit better. Is it a rocket? I don't know. I'm probably painting all these things and she's seeing it all.
I thought I saw Bob Marley there.
Okay. Someone sees Bob Marley, someone saw a rocket. Yeah, I hear some other interesting guesses. You know, it probably depends on what generation you're from about who you see. When I paint John Lennon, you know, anyone born before, the 90s, they're like, it's John Lennon. After that, it's Harry Potter. So. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the unicorn. That was for my daughter, actually. We did a little collab on that. So my children artists. My daughter is definitely an artist. My son dabbles in it. And my son actually did a halftime performance with me before. We did a King's halftime, so. All right, so I heard Martin Luther King. All interesting guesses. Let's see, where is this? I like this thing. Let's use this. So this is does anyone know what this is actually called? A trowel. I didn't know until right now. I'm going to use the trowel. I'm going to add that highlight color that we were on so that I can really kick this on and define the highlights. So I know that it'll also do some mixing, but this will go on top of the undertones that we had started with. Is it a dog park? Yeah, it could be. Oh yeah, there you go. So now we're getting some guesses that are. All right, so let me dish this. I'm gonna use just a little tiny bit of spray paint. Hopefully it doesn't bother anyone. If it does, I apologize. So I love using this wall as a palette as well because I don't. Oh yeah. I use it all. So I'm just using this to really define some of these highlights because it is starting to mix in with the colors under it. But the spray paint is great because it's opaque, which means once it goes on, you can't see through it. And this is just doing all the heavy lifting and the hard work for me right now. Do a little mist on there. All right, so someone just asked, do I use oils or acrylics? These are latex acrylics that I'm using. All right, I think that's enough spray paint to establish that. Now let's just start adding some more definition around the face. The profile of Mr. Jimi Hendrix or / everything else that Ellie guessed. It can be whatever your imagination sees. So again, I'm reaching out far, I'm holding further back on my brush, and not only am I pulling the brush, but I'm also rotating to create thicker lines that create the motion and looseness in the painting. Do I ever make a mistake while painting? Absolutely. This is full of mistakes. I've been fixing it up for the last 20 minutes, guys. Yeah. But I've never done this Jimi Hendrix in this color scheme. It is Jimi. Do you know what Jimi Hendrix is? No? All right. All right. Well, we get to learn something every day. This is an educational program as well. All right, I need like a big throw of paint on here. I'm gonna get some water in these brushes. Let's go with this purple, Mr. Purple Haze. We're gonna dip it in some water because the water will help the paint fly a little bit more. You go just that little bit. Let's do another little. So do I sketch out the paintings before I put on canvas? Usually only when it's a super complicated like logo for a corporation. But these are more organic, so there's a lot that I know about these. It just depends on the complexity of what needs to be done and what amount of time. So today, we're just flowing today.
How do you make a decision on what colors you're going to use?
So how do I make a decision on what colors to use? So I'll share this story. When I was a kid, my mom had this sort of local clothing line that she was doing in the garage of our house. And I would go outside, I would ask her what she's working on, and I would see her just splattering paint on clothes. And I would ask her the same thing, like, how do you know what color to choose? And she just says, I remember this, and now I can relate to it. She says, I just let God guide my hand. And I feel like that. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. That's creativity at work. And as an artist, I think that's what keeps us humble is we don't know where the creativity came from. That's why we do so much charity stuff, because we're just flowing. It's really like a instinctual thing for me. It's different for everyone, but I just let God guide the hand, and then I fix the mistakes if I don't do it right. Yes.
Are you going to have a drawing for one of us?
I love the confidence of this audience. These noon audiences are going for it. We didn't plan on doing it today, but it's a good thing to know for the future. All right, let's get some. So I can see that. I can see why you would see that, but he's very excited. All right, I think we're gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna throw some paint at this. We're gonna wrap this one up, chat for a little bit, and we've got one more painting after this. You guys good out there? You guys good? All right. All right. Let's get the energy going up. up and up. We'll do one more with this pink because I'm feeling it. We'll start down here. We go. I feel the energy going up. I use the splatter to create balance, so it is fun to do. It is messy, but also the splatters help create balance and evening out where the eye is drawn to. So we're gonna do that by going up, 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 and then one last handprint. All right, there we go. All right. Thank you all for hanging out. I do have one more painting for you. Thank you to our live audience for the questions and energy. We'll get to them in a bit. We're gonna chat with them, but let's go chat while you take one last look at this painting. And also, hello to everyone on TikTok for watching as well. All right, let's keep it moving. That was a fun one. I feel like we should keep that color scheme going. All right, let's go ahead and start this chat. All right, welcome back everybody. So if you've been watching or maybe you just got on, take a look at the painting that I just did. We'll put it on the screen right now. Actually, Jeremy, you stay over here. We've got right there we go. So that's the Jimi Hendrix. You've seen me do this before, but never in this color scheme. So what I did was I used the cool colors as my base, as my undertone, and then we built on that with our warm colors. So we'll give you a closer look in a bit. Yeah, we'll just chat for a little bit. So while we get set up for the next painting, we're gonna have I'm gonna answer some questions that I see in the chat. If you have any more questions while we're hanging out here, but most importantly, I want to shout you out. I see some cities here, but let me know where you're watching this from, your city, your state, your country. Let's see. Let me just refresh this. All right, let me get to Instagram as well. So yeah, let me know where you're watching this from. Smlo Cody, thanks for the love on Instagram. I appreciate that. Who else? North Carolina, but you're from Philadelphia, so shout out. We were just in Philadelphia for NBA halftime for the 76ers, so that we had a good time there. I see Australia joining us as well, but where else are you from? Where are you watching this? So yeah, we had a little party last night. When I had my birthdays, which was on Wednesday, when I was younger, we used to do like birthday weeks. I think actually we went from birthday months to birthday weeks. I turned 39 this week. We just did a birthday couple days. That was about it. We did my actual birthday. I spent time with my kids, and then last night it was like the adults got to hang out. We had a signature drink here. It was like a lavender margarita. So like purple haze, a little tequila. It was fun. Quick shout out to Marcus, who's watching from Little Rock, Arkansas. Welcome to you. And let me know too, where are you guys watching from? Now, are these on right now, the podcast mics?
The guest.
All right, the guest one is. So I'm gonna invite a guest over to come talk. Deanna, would you mind coming and hanging out? Let's show some love for Deanna. Just take that right there. And then just when you're talking, just talk in the mic like that. You can bring it closer like that. All right, so Deanna, you are a collector of some. What are some of the pieces that you own or have collected?
Oh my gosh, I love his watercolors and those self-portraits of David in his early years, and I love those.
Yeah.
I also, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
We put her on the spot. Yeah.
Yes. We also have a beautiful, large, what is his name? Lightning Hopkins.
Lightning Hopkins.
Yeah,
yes.
Lightning Hopkins.
So that was a fun one. So Deanna commissioned me to do a painting for a friend of yours, and they came in here, and he didn't know what it was going to be. So they were just hanging out, two of them. We had some wine, just hanging out. And as it starts to come to life, he starts to see one of his favorite blues players, a legend, Lightning Hopkins.
Yes.
Yeah. So that
He's
was
here in the audience.
Oh, he is. Oh, there you are. Yes. Hey,
Yeah,
what's up? Good to see you again.
Yeah, his birthday is the same day as your birthday.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we talked about this.
Yes.
You're sitting down. You're tall, and so that's what I remember you as. So that's why I couldn't recognize right now.
Tall and difficult because I'm a Sagittarius.
We are.
yes,
We're just we're full of personality. We'll say that.
Yes,
yeah,
you guys
Sagittariuses.
are.
Any other Sagittariuses? Any birthdays? All right. Shout out. Awesome. Well, all right, and so you have the watercolors, the
I also have
what?
one of your latest paintings that you did, and I'm so sorry I don't know the name of it.
That's okay.
But it's the not the Statue of Liberty, but she has three. It's on your wall.
Oh yes, the power of
The
love.
Power of Love.
Yes, the power of love.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that was originally a commission
Yes.
for a friend of mine in Las Vegas. I love it so much. I just asked him, I was like, can we just make a limited edition run of these? So that's how we ended up with that. Now, one last question. So what are other artists that you collect? Or are there anyone that you would recommend? No, it's okay. You can collect
I'm so
other
sorry.
artists.
I'm a diehard David fan.
All right. Well, I
Yes.
just want to encourage, just supporting the arts,
Yes.
whatever city you're in. I'm sure there's a local artist that you can
Yeah.
find and support. So, but no,
Yeah.
you've been a true support. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining.
you.
And also, you're always on these lives. Before we had live audiences, you're in the chat, just like showing love. You and my mom, very consistent. So I
I'm
just
actually
want to.
working. Yeah, right. No, but yes, I love following you.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. Well, Deanna, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
And thanks for bringing a great crowd with you today.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Appreciate it. All right. So real quick, shout out to Jimmy Chu in Washington. Let me just check in one more time with Instagram before we get to back to the next painting. So we're going to keep this theme going with the color scheme. And High Dreams Art, shout out to you. And yes, your Spider-Man painting that you gave me is in the background. So thanks for bringing that as well. Let me just check here. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the next painting right now. If you have questions as well, make sure you ask those in the chat. I'll do my best to answer those. Let's go. All right, wipe the sweat off. All right, we're gonna get into the next painting. If you saw the Jimi Hendrix before, I painted it in a way I haven't done before. I'm gonna do the next one sort of like that, same color scheme, so at least you can follow that along. But if you have any questions about my process, about anything, just ask in the chat. I'll do my best to answer. And if I don't know, I have a live audience that could probably answer it for you. So let's paint. And we're gonna get your question first in just a little bit, Ellie. All right, let's go with this dark blue. All right, let's paint. All right, so Ellie, hit me with it. Oh, okay. Well, we'll have to ask your parents if that's okay next, so. All right, we'll ask your parents if you can go over there. I feel like you're more entertaining than I am. So I'm sure the audience would not mind it. All right, so we're gonna do what we did before. We're gonna establish these undertones. We're using cool colors. You can really use any color for this, but the undertones is, think of like a color scheme that you want to shine through as you add layers on top of that. So it can be any color that you want. I'm using the cool colors. This also helps you focus on value. So there's colors that you can build a painting up with, but value has to do with lighting, light and shadow and everything in between. So it doesn't matter what color it is, it just matters on the actual tone of it. So whether it's light, mid-tone, or dark. Yes, great question. So why do I choose a black canvas? So when I'm painting, I am leaving behind the negative space. So when you're doing paintings in a very, very quick, short amount of time, let's just say 5 minutes on stage, those details that are usually the shadows, so it's, let's just say the lines in the eyes, or details that, make up a beard, those are things that are quicker left behind rather than actually adding it. So the black canvas lends to the style, to the quickness. I do love white canvases, like the Power of Love painting that we were talking about earlier. That was created on a white canvas first. So I did what I'm doing here on the white canvas. I put a cool undertone, and then I built the layers on top of that. Already? She's on it. Oh, is it Noah's Ark? Possibly. I don't know. It's very early. It could be anything right now. So I'm gonna hold back on that brush. So
What type of brushes do you use? Do you have a favorite?
yeah, so what type of brushes do I use? These are really, really inexpensive, affordable brushes. So they are synthetic, which means they're not a natural hair. Like most fine art oil painters use a natural hair brush for the texture, for various reasons. I just like the synthetic brushes because they hold up to the amount that I paint, sort of the abuse that I give the brushes on the canvas. And also, when we do need more, we can buy a lot of them. So a pack of these are maybe $8, a pack of 6 or 10 of them. And then the wide brushes that I'm using, those are also synthetic. Those are maybe $4 packs, comes in a pack of 3 of them. So they're very affordable, but it's more so about them being synthetic brushes so they can last being washed every day, the beading on the canvas and all that. Yes, Ellie. Is it what? Martin Luther King. I don't know. That's a good guess. I love your social awareness. I love this. All right. Do I have a favorite art piece? I think my political correct response is it's always my next painting because I'm always trying to challenge myself, carry what I did wrong in the last one. But if I had to choose, man, I'd probably say any version of my Einstein because it's evolved so much. It was, who's asked the question? Was it? Oh, right there. Yeah, so great question. So the Einstein painting, it's evolved so much over time. And I like to use that as a point of reference to if I'm getting better or not. Thank God it's improving over time. But I have a couple paintings that I use like that I use as a point of reference of improvement. So I do like the Einstein. Also, it's just a very universal painting. It's something that is recognized universally. And not necessarily that I need people to recognize my favorite painting, but the goal of this style of painting, performing, creating pop portraits, is to create a connection with the audience for a greater message. We're able to raise a lot of money for charity through this style of painting. We're able to entertain large audiences at arenas and stadiums, and the subject matter and the way it's created in combination helps with all that to achieve that goal. Great question. So, am I going to be doing any halftimes at the Kings game? Not anything that I'm aware of anytime soon. But we're huge supporters of the Kings, and if they asked, happy to do it. Do you book halftimes at the Kings? No. Do I have any of my own paintings? I do, actually. There's one of my girlfriend. It's on my side of the bed. There's also paintings I've done for my kids as well. So they have paintings in the room. My son has a painting of Kobe Bryant that I did for him on his birthday. He's a huge NBA fan, specifically Kobe Bryant. Even though we're in Sacramento and he crushed our Lakers for so many years, we love Kobe in our house. Yeah, that's a great question. So early on in my career, actually early on in life, I grew up playing the trumpet. So naturally, I love classical music. I love jazz music. I loved playing jazz music. And then as I got older, I got into hip hop. So the combination of hip hop and my generation, I still have this love for jazz and understanding of the rhythm and the soul in all of it. So when I started painting live, I naturally went to jazz clubs that were accepting of me painting live there, and there was a big subject matter that I focused on early on. But I still love jazz. It's still a love of mine. yeah, so if anyone wants to get in contact about, say, commissions or paintings, really my website's the best place to start on the contact page, so garibaldiarts.com, or send a DM, or do we have the text number? Ready? 916-866-8101. It's on the screen right there. So if you have questions about whether it's commissions or where's my order, that is our line. I try to answer as many as I can. We have an amazing team that helps out as well. But I'm on there quite a bit. So, all right, let's keep this moving. Ooh, am I painting Beethoven? We'll see in a little bit. I don't know. I love these guesses though. I can kind of see the Beethoven hair. So have I ever done a piece with fluorescent paint and black light? Yes, I have. So it's probably maybe 8 years ago or so. We had a deal with Disney Fine Art. I had a limited edition art line with Disney. And to promote it, we went to D23 when it first started. So D23 is like the Disney Con. It is for the dedicated Disney lovers. And I performed there, and the piece that I put together for that was a fluorescent light, black light painting. The only challenge, and I'll say this because I want to do it more, the only challenge with fluorescent light paintings is I do a lot of live shows, and not every venue is equipped to accommodate or to help with that. So we have to really work with a lot of the limitations in those areas, but it's something that I would love to explore more at some point.
What's the largest piece you've ever painted?
So what's the largest piece I've ever painted? It was actually a mural for a UFC fighter. His name is Uriah Faber. He has a huge gym here in Sacramento, and the wall was probably 100 and something feet long by 25 feet wide. I'm sorry, 100 something feet wide and about 25 feet tall. And I did work with some other local artists to collaborate to help bring that to life, but that was a week-long, very sweaty project in the summer. It was rough, to say the least. Is it Abraham Lincoln? Man, I can see that too. All right. I wonder if we have any guesses online. So if you're watching this in the chat, let me know your guesses. They'll let me know. We can share that guess. All right, just gonna keep building this up. I think when we reveal it, what was that question again? That's a great question. So do I perform solo or with the CMYKs? So the CMYKs were friends of mine who I grew up dancing with, and we did America's Got Talent together. So there were 4 dancers, and so you probably for about a year and a half or 2 years after the show, we did a lot with them. So we basically went on tour with the dancers, and then as they wanted to do new things in their life, I just kind of continued on, without them, just doing solo shows. But we still do shows where we have dancers, just not the official original CMYKs, but they're all great friends of mine, that we still keep in contact with as well. All right, let me add some skin tone in this transition. We'll get back to some questions as well, because I do want a little bit of skin tone to show through. Is it someone who? Royal. I think she is royal. To me, she's a queen. So yeah, this one, once you start seeing it, you're gonna say, oh, that's it. Ooh, is it Frida? That is a solid guess. She's like, tell me if I'm right. All right, we're just building this up one brush stroke at a time, trying to keep it loose. We're doing that. We shared it earlier, just holding back on the brush, using the range of motion of my arms. If there's any, shout out to any artists that are out there watching this. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you try anything that I'm talking about after this, or maybe you're trying it as we're talking right now. So that is my goal. That's why I love sharing this process. I hope that, you know, just like I was inspired by just seeing a painting by Denny Dent, it changed the trajectory of my life. I hope that maybe someone in the audience or someone watching would be inspired in some way to either pursue art, which is awesome. If not, just to pursue something that you love. You know, doing something, I shared last week this definition of a passion, which is something that you love so much that you're willing to fail at it. But when you try again, you just want to improve a little bit at a time. And that's all this is. You know, pursuing a passion is the willingness to fail, at the same time, the willingness to grow and learn at it, whether you're doing it as a hobby or as a professional as well. So, all right. We're gonna switch brushes now because these are getting a little too muddled with that last color. And let me just find the right size. There we go. I'm trying to not get paint on my audience because they were kind enough to show up today. When I wash the brushes, I'm usually, you know, moving around. Sometimes it goes over there. So this in a little bit, we're gonna put on a few more colors. We're gonna transition into some warm colors now. Get a little bit more confident brush strokes.
What advice do you have for smaller artists trying to sell their stuff to get
Yes, that's a great question. So, advice I have for artists that are just starting out or just wanting to kind of break through with your first collectors, I'll give the example where I started and then kind of relate it to where you're at. So I grew up, I was into music. I played music. I loved music. I could talk about jazz music or hip hop with people anytime that I met them. And so when I started painting live, I was aware that I wanted to paint in a place where I shared a common passion with them. So I think for starters, as you build up your skill set and you know how to create, at least you're still gonna build your confidence over time, but go to places where you have the same passion as other people. So for example, if I grew up and I was into horses, and I love giving this example, if I grew up going to equestrian centers, riding horses, if I knew a lot about horses, the first place I would go if I was an artist is I would go find my audience in equestrian centers or equestrian clubs, because I'm gonna express our passion for horses through my art. So I did it through music, and I say this because it's about finding a common passion with people rather than just trying to sell art in an art world. When you find a common passion, you're creating your art world. So I would really spend time and think about growing up, what was I into? Or even now, is it, like, really break it down. Let's just say if you were into video games, then more specifically, which game? Even more specifically in that, like what subculture within that game as well. So the more you can really break it down there, that's the best place to start. And then you start to expand into, using the game example, other games or gaming as a whole as an industry. And then from there, you know, thinking long term, you can really pivot and do anything. So start with what you love, think about what you love, a specific genre or subject, create that, you'll attract that, and you find a commonality with that audience first. So, and then also share that process. So the you know, when I started, all I had was painting live and MySpace, and I took advantage of that because I could put out into the world what I enjoyed and attract it, but also you have to share it as well, and it's not easy for most artists. Naturally, I was an introvert growing up. I had to grow and become more extroverted, just learn how to speak better in front of audiences, which I'm still working on. But sharing the process will help you gain your confidence in you know, taking criticism, and you know, I know there's a lot of things that come with that, but start with the passion and be very specific about what that is. But I love those questions. Thanks for asking that question. Appreciate that. It is definitely Farida, for sure. We're just building this up, like I said, one brush stroke at a time. I need to splatter. So this one is, I don't think as loose as the, as I splatter paint. It's not as loose as the Jimi Hendrix, and it's more so his profile lends a little bit more freedom. Hers is probably a little bit more specific to being precise. You know, Frida has one of those faces that if it's a little off, it can feel off. So I'm always with her portrait, just taking a little extra time and love. We'll get that unibrow in there in a little bit too. The infamous unibrow. Let's head over here. We're gonna add some white to the yellow. We're really gonna start. Usually when I hit the canvas, paint splatters back at my face. So if you see paint on my face, that's where it came from. All right, we'll fill in the other area with just pure white in a little bit so that we start to create shape on the face. We talked about shapes earlier. So rotating that brush as I'm moving. It's not just, you don't want to just fill it in, you don't want to just drag it across the surface, but use a rotation to create those brush strokes and those movements. But Frida is one of my favorite artists. If you didn't already know, the fact that she is as powerful and relevant as a creative source now as she was when she was alive and broke so many barriers, not only for people that were of Latin descent, but also for women in the art world at the time too. So she is a huge inspiration. My daughter also loves her. So you might, whoever was thinking about this painting, getting it, you might have to fight my daughter for it. So she might try to claim it first, but. All right, let's add the eyes and then we're gonna, if you know Frida, she's got these signature flowers up above. Let's go over here to some gray. We might actually add some blue since there is some shadow in the eyes. Oh, yes. So yeah, I do use different, I guess, tools, whether it's my hands or brushes when I do these paintings, and it just depends on what I'm trying to achieve. So every painting is different. There's never a template per se. There's different skill sets that you can apply, but every painting has its own life to it. So am I still doing my paintings upside down? Absolutely. I just did a halftime in Philadelphia where I did the painting upside down in the arena. Yeah. Oh, I see what you did there. Yeah. Took the joke right out of my mouth. That's funny. This is my last one for today, or for right now at least. What should I do though? So I have another live stream later. Allie, what should I paint later? A mermaid? All right. All right. Like a mermaid like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, or just in general? I think we might end up doing a collaboration. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I just want to give the impression that there's flowers there. When I do this style of painting, I'm not trying to be photorealistic. I honestly, that's not the goal. It's to use a quick moment in time, a quick brushstroke to give the impression of a shape, of information, and as long as it adds up, hopefully it gets the point across of what it is. But I'm never going for perfection. I'm just going for the impression more than anything else.
Hey, David,
Yes.
just a comment. It's not really, it's amazing. Her passion is reflected in how you're painting her. It's just amazing.
Thank you so much.
Passion, like, all of her self-portraits and all that really comes through in that.
Thank you so much. appreciate that. This is, again, I've never painted this portrait in this color scheme before. I'm just going through this creative process with all of you, and I think that's what I sort of live for, these moments, the risk taking. Like, this is the moment that I enjoy, because I know this couldn't have turned out like this. It could have been very different, but you just trust the process, take the risk. All right, let's go back to the spray paint. We're gonna use this again to add some highlights. The spray paint is more opaque than the paint that I'm using, so it'll be a little bit more bright. Just right there on the nose, cheek, just a little mist. So did I go to art school, or did I major in art? I did not. So I just really took classes in high school. And after high school, between 18 and 20, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with art. And but if it wasn't for the high school I went to, I probably would not have been as ahead as I was at 18. So Sheldon High School has an amazing arts program there, visual and performing. And the training I got there, I probably used most of that to start my career right away. And the rest was really just self-taught, you know, taking figure drawing classes on the weekends, just signing up for any learning I could do. And even now I'm still on YouTube watching tutorials about cameras, about how to scan my own art as well, which we do all that in-house, and just constantly learning and constantly being a student. Yes. Oh yes, you're right. I will be more aware of that. I have a new art coach that's joining us. She's gonna send me an invoice. All right, let's get some splatter. Let's get some more. Let's get some pink on here. Allie, what color next? After red? All right. Red and blue. We're gonna do red and blue before we end this then. So let's do red first. So now when people ask me, how do you choose your color? I just ask Ellie. All right, let's get some water to make it fly. And then let's do blue for one last throw. We're gonna go with a mid-tone blue. Dip it in that water. Yeah, I'm just glorified finger painter. All right, one last. Okay, thank you. Thank you all again for watching this live stream. So don't go anywhere. We're gonna have a quick chat before we sign off. We're gonna say hello again to our live audience, take any last minute questions that you have. So ask your questions down in the chat so that I can answer those when we're done, but take one last look at this Frida Kahlo painting number 2 today. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I forgot the most signature part of this. Okay, now take a look. All right, let's chat. Go on them. All right, so thank you again for everyone for joining us. Take one last look at the Frida Kahlo portrait that I did today was painting number 2. Those of you that have seen me paint Frida probably many times before, this is the first time I've done it in this specific color scheme. So starting off with the cool colors, building up to the warm colors, and obviously some highlights to contrast the shadows of the black canvas down below. Let's do some quick shout outs before we go. First shout out is to our live audience joining us today. This is awesome. So I've been saying this time and time again, we started these live streams with an iPhone and my girlfriend holding that, March 2020. We did 3 live streams a week. We were just doing as much as we could, and our socials started to grow, and this community really started to grow as well online. And so as soon as we could, we opened up the studio and we were able to invite our live audience. So if you want to join a future live audience, you can visit garibaldiarts.com/live stream. Is that it? Studio. Oh, there we go. So thank you, Ray. So visit garibaldiarts.com/studio, or there's a link in the bio of all my social platforms. You can go there, sign up. I believe we only have spots left for tonight. I had to open it up and added some spots. It'll be our last live stream for the year, but look out for spots for future live streams at garibaldiarts.com/studio. So before we sign off, just do some quick shout outs. Let me know again, where are you watching this from? Your city, your state, your country. I know so far we've had check-ins from Australia, Nigeria. We had someone in Missouri who called it misery because of the snow. We're in beautiful, foggy California right now. So where are you watching this from? And I'm curious, is anyone not from Sacramento that's in the live audience? Where did you come from? Rockland, all right. Little north of us. Anyone else? Galt, and where else? Bakersfield, wow. Are you in town visiting family? All right, well, welcome. We'll just say you came to visit a live stream, yeah. But no, thank you again to everyone for joining us. Shout out to my mom, who's also in the chat as well, giving me the, the love. Let's see. Let me check in on Instagram. All right. Scotsman McFadden, watching from, I believe, Scotland. Scotsman, so shout out to you. Chadi, I love you. Thanks for checking in as well. All right. I'm just scrolling through all these Instagram messages. All right, there's too many to go there, but we'll just leave it with this. Happy holidays to everyone. Whatever you're celebrating, I hope you get to see your family, whether it's in person, on Zoom. However you do that, just connect with people that you love and cherish them. You know, this life is temporary and quick, and so just send as much love as you can out there. And also to the artists, I shared some advice earlier, but really connect with your passion outside of art. Whatever that subject matter is, really dive into that and try to express that through your art. When you do that, you're going to attract a similar tribe and a similar people who are like-minded. And you will be the person who expresses that passion through your art for that community. So it's the best place to start. Thank you all for joining us. And that's it for today. So thank you, our live audience. Appreciate you. And my name is David Garibaldi. And happy holidays to everyone. Thanks for watching Art Life Live. Peace. All right.